Good evening and welcome to the City of Isani. Committee of a Whole meeting. That is loud. Holy Hannah.
Before we get started, Mayor, if I could, I do want to let you know that we had all of our software reprogrammed, so it is now working the way it should. Therefore, there is no need to get too close to the microphones as they will pick up we can bring them back. We can turn the volume down, but this will be our first time using a new programming of our audio equipment, so please bear with staff as we work out some bugs.
I feel like the guy at McDonald's, Jimmy.
I know I always have to get up right next to the microphone to be heard, so that'll be nice for me.
We got feedback on you. All right, so this is Tuesday, April 19th. Persistent to Minnesota Statute 13D.02, Councilmember Gordon will be participating in the meeting from Subway at 945 Eagle Drive, Newtown, North Dakota, 58763, due to working out of state. The public can view the city council meeting in person or by visiting the website that is listed on the Committee of a Whole meeting agenda and the Facebook page and everywhere else we are heavily transparent at. I'd like, council members, keep in mind that we do have to do roll call now every time that we vote. Thanks to Mr. Gordon.
Does that include Committee of the Whole?
Everything. So I'd like to call this meeting to order. If we could all rise for Pledge Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Doing roll call. 4 members are physically present. Jimmy Gordon is via Zoom in North Dakota. I hope it snows like 3 feet while you're there, Jimmy. I'm kidding, buddy. Is there any public comment at this time? No public comment. Let's move on to the committee meeting items. E1 is a agenda request by Mr. Christopher Peterson. Yes, sir. If you would step up to the podium, state your name and address for the record.
My name is Christopher Peterson.
Turn on your mic there, Mr. Peterson.
Push the button there.
Push the button, it'll turn green. There you go.
All right. My name is Christopher Peterson. I live at 519 Dogwood Street here in Isani. And my proposal is to put some ads on your community board in the entryway at the liquor store. Or jazz up the board, put some trim on it. Give the community an opportunity, the small businesses in the community to market here. And that was maybe my proposal. It's free to you. And that was just maybe something that you guys might be interested in doing, since I'm a local business.
Is there room in the?
What's the cost to the businesses?
What's the cost to the businesses?
Nothing, they get to advertise.
Yeah, they get to advertise. Nothing to you guys. It's free to you. It's a free service to you guys. But
He's,
$150, $200 a year for the local businesses.
I told you it wasn't.
oh,
And like, yeah,
okay,
contract for the year,
okay.
and then I could either rent. this-
150 to 200 a year, you said?
Yeah, for the local businesses. Yeah, it's not much. And I seen the board, yeah, and there's just a plain community.
How big is the ad?
I'd say these ones will probably be like 10 by 12, 9 by 11.
How many of them?
What's that?
How many?
There would be like 10, 8 to 10.
He's got one over at the post office.
Yeah, that's my board at the post office. I have another, well, I do daily special boards too.
We're not taken away from that community board, would we be?
No, there'll still be the cork board to put flyers, business cards and such for the community on there. It just would look nicer, and I could even put a caption up for you guys. Welcome to Isani Liquors, or thank you for shopping at. I mean, I just figured it would look nicer since it's a new building. And obviously it would help my business. It would help the people that, for the graphics people, the sales people, local businesses, you know, just be local. So it was just a proposal. I thought it would just look nicer in there since it's a new building. No cost to you, like I said.
Jimmy, can you hear Mr. Peterson okay?
Yeah, I can. Can you hear me now a little better? Or?
Yeah, if you want to weigh in on your comments.
I mean, I've always kind of taken the approach with this. I mean, he's making some money off of it. I mean, is there a cut that the city can have? You know, I mean, is there a portion of that where you kind of plan on paying for some space or something like that in a business? Or I guess that would be my only question.
I could rent the space yearly, like for $150 would be around 10%. That'd be 10% of total sales, I would say an average of. And then, yeah, I mean, we could work a deal, we can sign a service agreement that states everything in there, and I can help keep the board clean since I'm in the community, you know, make sure it's organized, make it look nice. A lot of times those things kind of get,
So it also has,
but
I'm sorry. So it also has where you can put your garage sale and that type of stuff.
oh, yeah, yeah, you'll have plenty of corkboard to work with for the community, for flyers, lost dogs, business cards, whatever. But I'm doing the business for 30 years and I'm in this town for almost 30, so I just thought that might be something that might be interested in doing. It would look a lot nicer, I know that.
It'll look a lot nicer than what, nothing?
Well, I mean, the community board's in there, and I just kind of think it looks plain, plus that one seems a little warped, it's kind of sticking away from the wall in the corner.
You're talking about now the liquor store?
Yeah, liquor store entryway, yeah.
Mayor and council, if I may, I think that a couple things to consider in this request is if the council doesn't like the corkboard that's there, we did utilize an old corkboard. We can get something that looks better and fancier if that is so desired of the council. I don't think that staff was aware that yours would be a business venture for businesses to actually pay to advertise on. We thought that it was replacing the existing corkboard with a nice frame.
Well, it would be a nicer board.
But also there would be a business opportunity for you.
But Councilman Gordon made a good point too, that if he's gonna make money off of that, what is the city getting? I mean, I would totally agree with Councilman Gordon, which he's saying 10% of his sales every year could potentially go to the city's way, so we're making a little something, he's making a little something, and the community's getting their advertising out. Good question, Councilman Gordon, I'm glad you asked it, and I didn't have to, but I think it's a great idea personally.
Well, the problem with the city taking a cut is you're always gonna drive up advertising costs for the businesses. I mean, I have nothing against taking
Come out of
money
his
for the
cut.
city.
But
What's that?
it's gonna
Come
come
out
out
of
of
his
him,
profits.
not ours.
Or,
He says
or
that now,
the,
he says that now, but I'm telling you, I know how business works.
Okay,
Well, then-
that's why we make a contract.
Then that's
He
on,
could still drive prices up.
That-
He could say, I'll give you $150 a year, and then he could charge everybody else $300.
$300, yeah.
We're not saying what he can charge everybody else by
But
giving
the-
us money.
businesses aren't forced to advertise with him.
I'm not saying they are. That's not even my point. My point is, I think it's.
What
just
is it
gonna
then?
The point is it's gonna drive the price up of the advertising.
And that's up to the people that wanna advertise to pay that price.
Okay.
They don't have to pay that
You as a
price. They can
business
go
owner have
somewhere
the right
else.
to say you do or do not wanna advertise
No,
with
I
him.
get that. I'm just.
So if it's too high for you, you
I'm
don't
just
have
trying
to
to be
advertise.
business friendly. All I'm trying to do is say,
Yeah,
let
back
the,
in the day,
let
back
it,
in the day, we used to get $300-400 for these things,
Not anymore, huh?
get $200, and that's honest.
it's like the way of newspaper advertising. Nobody really advertises in newspaper anymore.
It's going down, everything's going down that sense. But it's just a good place to market, and like I said, it's local, it's kind of their demographic. I've been here a long time, I know everybody here. I'm calling people and mentioning that, you know, we have an entryway board at the Isani Liquor, which is good, you know, advertising for you guys too. It was
Mayor and
just a
council, one
thought.
thing, excuse me, one thing to also consider is would Mr. Peterson have sole discretion on what ads he put up? Therefore, not the city having any, which I would imagine not if it's his board. One thing to keep in mind is that we wouldn't have any discretion on what got put on there. So if something offensive was on there and someone paid to put the ad on, that would be on Mr. Peterson's discretion in a city facility. Just another thing to keep in mind.
that would have to be part of the
Both
agreement.
competitors,
That would have to be part of the agreement, contract agreement with them, that nothing offensive. It may be a proofreading from city staff to say that this is acceptable. I mean, we wouldn't have any say who will and can and cannot advertise on it, but as long as it's nothing offensive, it's,
and no other liquor stores, obviously, no compete.
I wouldn't want nobody competing with you, I wouldn't want nobody competing with us,
No,
I wouldn't
absolutely.
want nothing offensive.
Right, right.
So I mean, if you're willing to let city staff proofread what's gonna go up there,
Oh, sure,
then
yeah, that wouldn't be a problem.
you're making your money, we're getting 10% of that money.
And we're showing good
Everybody's
faith to the
happy.
community.
Yeah.
Councilman
I'm
Gordon, you have
okay with that.
anything else, sir?
No, that sounds good to me, so.
I have no problem with it.
I don't think we should take a cut, so I would vote no. But you got 4-1, so let's move on.
Mayor, if I could, I think that direction should be to recommend this to work, Mr. Peterson to work with myself or Ms. Strand on this to draft up an agreement, and then that'll come back through council for approval.
I
Absolutely.
think that'd be a good
For
idea.
vote.
All right, sounds good.
If I know the
Leave this with
strong
you.
ladies of City Hall,
Yes.
they're gonna tweak that agreement.
Fine with me. I'm here to do business.
And I'm saying strong ladies, that's plural. Perfect. We thank you, Mr. Peterson, for your time,
You
sir.
want me to leave that with them or work with them?
Yep, just leave it with
All right,
them.
that sounds
They
good.
can look over it and they'll notify you or you'll notify them and you'll work further.
I appreciate it.
Likewise, sir.
Jeff, thanks, guys.
Nice to meet you, sir. We'll go to E2, the agenda request for a Miss Christine Schultz. I got this one. She texted me. So the agenda request for Miss Christine Schultz, Josie, I don't have anything in front of me. She did fill out the form, I see. Apparently, she got a late fee and the money wasn't the issue. The fact that the post office lost her payment. And she did send the printouts to me. I have them provided from the bank that her check was cashed on time, but for some reason, we gave her a late fee.
Mayor and council, I believe my understanding of this, and Ms. Schultz did speak to Mr. Becker, so he can also touch
Oh,
on
good.
this, was that her side of this is that she goes through an automatic billing pay system through her bank account, and when the funds were withdrawn from her bank account, which I believe was on the 10th, which would have been in plenty of time before we would have received a payment. However, the city here did not receive that utility payment. There was an envelope with some other payments that was received from the post office, because it was mailed from her banking institution. And it did say that there was a delay. There was no definition from the Postal Service of how many days there was a delay, just that there was a delay. And that it didn't give reference to any date or dates for those. And just for council and mayor, for your information, once we do receive utility payments, we process them the same day. Latest would be the next business day. If for some reason we got it late in the day, or if it came in the utility box real late in the day, we don't hold on to any payments. We do process those immediately to get those posted, especially when it is around due date. We make sure that we are taking a look at once we get those and when they're posted.
And I don't think this is a city error by all means, Josie. I do not.
I don't believe so either.
I don't think
it's-
this was on our end at all. I think what happened was legitimately the post office, and we've known we've had our roundabouts with that postmaster and that post office, losing mail or a lot of these residents have had issues, not us per se, personally, but our residents have had many of issues. I think I've brought many of them up to your attention even, and there's nothing we can unfortunately do about it. But now it's potentially creating a problem for us, to where, here's a prime example, to where she's mailed it. I mean, I have everything, unfortunately, I should have forwarded this to you, and I don't, my apologies for not doing it.
Let me ask you this, is there a grace period on that payment?
It's like 10 days or something, isn't it? I was thinking. Or well, if, then there's the late fee though.
There is a grace period from water shut off, if you want to say that. If we don't receive the payment by the due date, we don't shut the water off automatically. There is a process in place that happens.
I mean, other than the water not being shut off, I mean, it's a $5 late fee. I personally, Postal Service is probably one of the worst reliable thing I've ever seen in my entire life, and I've known that for years.
There's, yeah, I mean, there's I guess I've never mailed my water payment.
Yeah.
Either put it in the box or I do it online.
Which
Yeah,
this could be a lesson well learned for her.
So this might be a good time for me to bring this up. This type of bill pay service is something that I've seen show up late for years. This isn't just exclusive to Isani. In prior employment, this was also an ongoing problem. And in prior employment and here, my advice to residents is always allow us to transact your payment by ACH on the due date. You'll never have a late fee, and it will always be paid on time, and that service is free.
That works well for me.
Well, actually, it's not free. You pay like $2.50 to do it.
No, that's through PSN. We run an ACH file directly with the bank, and our banking services agreement says that all those transactions are free. So we do not incur a cost at the city level. The residents do not incur a cost. All they need to do is fill out a form saying they want to pay it every month and provide a voided check, and it's taken care of automatically.
Oh, you mean it gets taken out of your bank, like my bank account
Yep,
automatically?
yep. So you could come into City Hall.
I see.
Yep, you're a resident, you come into City Hall, give us a voided check. We run that automatically on the due date, and there are no late fees. There's never any problems.
She has, I have, and I can
3
gladly,
different ways to pay,
and I,
other than mailing it.
and, I mean, I guess maybe hopefully she's learned a lesson not to do it this way again, but she's attached her bank printout from Wells Fargo that shows she paid it on time,
Well,
It
so,
shows that
that the money was
the
taken
city
out
cashed the check?
on time.
No, her bank sent.
Her bank, she's attached a bank printout from Wells Fargo. From what I see, the payment was on time, and I'm looking at it.
well, so this is part of the problem here is this, I think Christine is misunderstood, and I think there's probably some others that misunderstand how this process works. When you do an online bill pay system like that through Wells Fargo, and they're gonna actually cut a check to the city on your behalf, you might, in this case, if I remember her details correctly, she said that she submitted that order for the bill to be paid on the 3rd or the 4th. The money left her bank account on the 10th. What that signified on the 10th when the money left her account was that the Wells Fargo or Bluebird or whoever the third-party vendor is writing the checks, that signifies the day that they took on the responsibility of having to pay it. They issued a check on the 10th. Once that became a liability for them, they took the money out of her account. But the check did not arrive to us on the 10th. The check arrived to us on the 30th.
That just seems ridiculous, and why it would take 20 days.
Well, I'm all for giving her $5, to remove the $5 late fee.
Yeah, I am.
And and maybe stress to her that, this is the possibility that we can do an automatic withdrawal from you.
And I think,
Or
I mean,
just
because
drop it in the box.
we could potentially set the precedent of waiving
That's what
this
I'm
one.
afraid of.
And I have that in the back of my mind, but at the same time, if we were to waive this one and
$5.
inform and educate her, and maybe you should find a new way of doing this, I don't think there would be any harm, any foul. I mean, anybody should be able to pay their payment, I guess, the way they feel necessary, but I personally just come in here and hand it in, and I will fully admit that I am never on time, so I pay my late fees, and I just take my lickings.
But I'll tell you, as many years as I've sat up here, I think maybe this might be in the 1 or 2 or 3rd time that this has ever came about, in all the years that I've been sitting up here.
Mayor and Council, if I may, I don't think that every resident who incurs a late fee does find it, the ability to come here to City Council to make the request to have it waived for whatever reasons. Maybe they feel it's warranted, maybe they feel it's not. But just so staff is clear, are we only making an exception for this one account and not for any others?
I would say.
This one time.
Yeah, this one time.
This one account, this one time.
Now she
I
knows
guess-
that, I would make it clear, like Councilman Lundin says, or maybe it was Mayor, we're not gonna do it over and over again. If this happens again, she's learned her bank isn't gonna be on time. I think offer the solution that Mike Becker said, Mr. Becker said.
Try a different
guess-
avenue of
Yeah,
payment.
because that works slick for me. I just, like Mr. Becker said, I just turned in a voided check and I don't even think about my water bill anymore.
One more follow-up clarification. So we we did have other payments that were received in the same envelope that was received from the postal service with the letter that said that these were delayed.
Well,
Do
there
you
was a
want,
letter saying these were delayed even?
like a sticker, that they were delayed.
Ick.
But there were others. Do there,
So the bill pay service,
How much
I would
was
wait-
it?
I
The
would
bill
wait
pay-
for them to
How
come.
much was it, Mike?
I'd have to go double check, but it was about 12 or 15 checks that all came from the same bill pay service. So there's 12 to 15 accounts that all got the late fee, and she's just the only one that
I
brought
would
it up.
wait for
I
them to
don't-
complain. I wouldn't just go.
I don't feel the city should have to pay for someone else's mistake.
I don't either.
I think if she wants that $5 back, she should talk to whoever she uses to pay her bills. That's my feeling.
Councilman,
I've had to pay late fees before. I didn't, you know.
I pay them all the
that's-
time, I will openly admit, so. Councilman Gordon, you have anything you want to weigh in on this, sir?
Yes, I guess my question would be, is this a habit? I mean, has there been other late payments? And if not, I would just give her the $5 back. I mean, it doesn't cost us anything. It's just we had to wait a little while for our check to come in. So I think if she's, I appreciate that she's going after the $5, you know, so that's good. And if there's not a history of this kind of stuff going on, I don't have a problem giving her the $5.
But also, let's
I'd
keep
given
in
it- I'd
mind,
have given it to
You
her
gotta
out of my
give
pocket to
everybody-
avoid this conversation.
let's keep in mind, Councilman Gordon, there was, I don't know if you heard, but there was 12 to 15 others in that envelope that had a sticker that said these were delayed. So that's potentially $75
By the same billing company.
by the same billing company that had these all delayed, that we would be giving $5 each back to those potential 15, equaling $75. I mean, I myself, if we're gonna give it to her, I mean, I almost think it'd be fair to give it to everybody.
Yeah,
I don't know, if I was a betting
so I
man,
guess I guess I didn't quite hear that quite accurately. So, yeah, if that's the case, I mean, like I said, it doesn't cost us anything to have a payment come in late. We just had to wait for the check a little bit. And if it was a mistake on the part of this billing company, I don't see why we need to charge that. If it's just, if we know that it's verified in that letter that we received, then I would say, yeah, it's just, it's not that big a deal. If they made a mistake, they made a mistake. Give them the $75 back to the residents and call it good. But if it continues to be a problem, then I would say, yeah, we got to get it from that company because we can't keep having these late payments come in.
But it has been a problem in the past with the same billing company. So how long, or, you know,
Has it?
that Mike just,
Just said in
I-
that same one, not,
no, Mike
Yeah,
had just,
in general, I have seen problems repeatedly with these types of
general,
companies.
but
So there's a handful of companies like Dot and Bluebird and on that make a living at this type of thing. And repeatedly, a bunch of times in my career, I've seen that these checks show up late.
Is anybody else asking for a refund from their late payment?
None of the
She's
other.
the only one.
None of the
Let's
others.
just go with this one, and
people just pay it.
and if, you know,
That's life.
I don't know, I like the feeling, I always like that we're a small town feeling, or even a small town, we're just a small town. Once in a while, the bend over is
He's got
okay.
a point. I mean, he's got a point. She's the only one bringing it up, so, I mean, I guess I would give her the $5 and don't worry about anybody else unless they complain.
Yeah, that's why, you know,
They complain and they go through what Ms. Schultz went through, then we face it then. But this one case, this one refund, this one person, I would give her $5 back to her, this one time.
and that's not even to say that the bank created the problem. It could have been the post office that created the problem. So
Could
you
have been the
just-
billing
There's no
company,
way-
it could have been 3 different people.
It was
Councilmember
the,
Lindy, and there's no way for staff to determine.
No, that's what I said. There's no way we,
Date.
It could have been 3 to 4 different entities before it hit Mike's desk.
that's why we just gonna do it this once, we can't do it every time, oh, it was the bank's fault again, or the,
Right.
you know.
No.
well, Nope, you're done.
And I would say, you know, hey, the council's graciously giving you your $5 back, you might want to find a different avenue,
because this,
because they're not going to keep doing it.
oh, I wouldn't say keep doing it, I would say we're not going to do it ever again for anybody. It's $5. $5. You can't pay $5?
Some people can't. Well, we don't know case-by-case situations. I mean, $1 would
I
hurt a
realize
lot of
that,
people.
But it's, I don't know, to me, I guess it's,
Like I said, I take my lickings. I'm not always on time. I pay that fee. And I sit in the mayor's seat.
Well,
I
did
just
too.
pay it.
I did too, and then I did what Mr. Becker said, go give him a voided check, and
or
I
drop
don't,
it off.
I don't even see the bill anymore. Well, it comes, but I just toss it.
I should do that. I don't know why I haven't done that.
Okay,
Super
so
slick.
what are we gonna do?
I would go
I say,
this one time, this one person, give her $5 back and leave it at that.
I concur.
You okay with that, Jimmy?
Yep, that sounds good to me.
Councilman Collison?
No, I'm not okay with that. I think we're setting a precedence.
I guess we would have to take a vote on this. I mean, it'd still be 4-1.
Mayor, we cannot take any action here at committee of the whole. However, if there is a request to push this to council, then it would go for a vote.
Are we pushing it today, or is that what you're saying? If we were pushing it today, we would want to vote?
It could be added to the agenda this evening if we wanted, if council.
just say we be
Then
done
let's
with
call
this.
for a vote.
I say we push it to the agenda today, be done with this. We'll vote on it and
She
be
wants
done.
to vote now.
No, she,
No, this
Yes.
evening,
this
this evening.
evening on council.
I thought you wanted to vote to go to council.
No,
That's what we will do then. Thank you.
thank you. We'll move on to E3, the police updates. Chief Myers.
Did you miss something?
Did I?
Yeah. Liquor discussion.
That's next. That's 4. He's before the temporary
Oh, is
liquor
it?
license.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Mayor and Council. Just update on staffing is we are just hired, or that part-time secretary position that we created and filled the end of last year somewhere, or last fall, anyway, replaced that. So we hired a new part-time secretary. Don't really have a start date yet, but have a great candidate for that. We are, as far as.
Chief, do you mind talking into your mic more? I know Councilman Gordon is having a heck of a time hearing you.
We are down 2 patrol officers, 1 vacancy, which was from the officer that left, and 1 that's out on a leave, so we are still short. In reference to the last committee meeting, or the committee meeting, we talked about staffing levels. We are filling the Friday, Saturday, afternoon, evenings with, a minimum of 2. So we've been able to keep that staffing level on the minimum of Friday and Saturday at 2 officers from that 4 p.m. to 4 a.m., which is our priority time frame. We are in the hiring process of that, or the second hiring process. We did 1. I didn't like any of the candidates, went through another process, and we're right in the middle of that process right now, so hopefully we can find a full-time officer to fill that vacancy here in this process. Even with this process, by the time that officer would be hired, would be close to the end of May, and then by the training time, you're talking July, August, depending on level of experience by the time they're actually out and going. So just in reference, we lost an officer January 1st, so it'll be about July, August by the time we actually can replace it. That's how long it actually takes. It's interesting, but it does take a long time to actually get somebody up and going in that position. We're still going forward with our rebranding. We've had our core values logo, our mission statement. You've seen our police vehicle, the marked vehicle got changed last year with that new black graphic. So we have a committee that's working on the new shoulder patch, and I have seen some the representations they're doing, so that will be coming up soon, because they've actually got to the point where the officers and their committee have came up with 2 different designs that they're gonna vote on, and I like both of them, so we'll be going forward with that. So at some point, we'll bring that to council to let you see what that is. But that'll be here, I would guess, in the next month, that we'll actually get that last piece of that puzzle going there. And we're still going forward with our wellness program for officers. That's kind of a priority in law enforcement as well. Physical as well as emotional. We still have our contract with 1 provider that does the emotional or the officer wellness checkups and some training for that. We're gonna be working on updating our body camera policy. I think that's about 3 years that we've been running on. It still works, just some tweaks that we're gonna be running that. There's a whole process with that, so you will see that with a public hearing. We have to post it, that's a state statute, so it's a little bit different than other stuff on our policies. It's the one policy that we have to bring to council, have a public hearing and stuff like that. You'll see that, and it's not because there's anything wrong, it's just 3 years. We're gonna review that and update some of that stuff. Let's see, We have, working on the update from emergency operation plan, so just working with our plan to make sure it's in, works with the counties as well as Cambridge and Bram and the other neighboring agencies. Building update, myself and Mr. Becker had been over there, our new building, 3-4 weeks ago, met with some of contractors and Bolton and Mink just to come up with some ideas, because there's the 3 pieces of the puzzle that we need to try to figure out as far as to move into that. Securing the entryway, you know, so you have a public entryway that's secure, the evidence room, and then the interview room. So those are the 3 pieces that we are looking at, and hopefully getting our stuff lined up so we can get the RFPs out sometime this summer to see what that is gonna entail as far as the renovation cost for those 3 pieces that we need. And as far as tint, we had 2 bids for our tint project we talked about a couple months ago. Haven't heard back from the 3rd one, so we reached out to one of those 2, and they assume they'll be able to get in here by next week. So hopefully by our next council meeting, that project will be done for our council chambers.
Do we have a goal or a date? Do we plan on renovating and having the police switching over yet, or are we just kind of winging that?
Well, I know there's gonna, some of it's unknown. We don't know, you know, what the cost is gonna be on the evidence room and some of those other pieces, so kinda depends on what that's all gonna entail.
Yeah, right now, we've got the lease that we're currently engaged at, goes through the end of June. Sounds like there might be an opportunity for us to allow them out early. They might want to, and that'd be up to the council if they want to allow that, you know, hence get out of the lease, that we have access sooner. Otherwise, otherwise there's a 2-month option at the renter's discretion. So worst case scenario, August 31st. It'll be
August 31st, you
August
said?
31st would be the worst case scenario before current renter is out of the building. And then theoretically, if we have our ducks in a row in that scenario, we can start queuing things up for September 1st. And if everything goes as planned and we're at least reasonably on budget, we should be able to pull it off yet this year, I would like to think. So.
Any questions, comments, concerns by the council? Councilman Gordon, you good?
Yeah, just keep up the good work.
Okay, then. Thank you, Chief. Move on to E4, the 3-2 temporary liquor license discussion.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. So this evening, we do want to have a discussion between the city clerk and myself and you as well, just to make sure we're all on the same page. For reference, a temporary on-sale intoxicating liquor license does specify in city code how many days it is valid for. However, our 3-2 liquor application and license does not specify a day limit within the city code. Statute states that the city can set the terms of that license. Our application, though, however, has stated that may not exceed 4 consecutive days. Staff just wanted to bring this to council's attention to make sure that you are aware that we have just been doing the 4 days. Ms. Strand and myself were not sure when that started and why it wasn't in city code. Perhaps it was an oversight in city code. Want to just make sure we're all on the same page. And do we want it to continue as 4 days, or do we want to have consideration of having it be the same as the on-sale intoxicating liquor license valid dates?
Can you say who uses that? Who uses that 4-day license? Just
So the Lions do pull a temporary liquor license for doing street dance and other events.
Which is 1 day.
Right.
So
The
is
rodeo
it,
is separate.
so if I'm clear, it's stated now you only can do it for 4 consecutive days,
Correct.
but then you have a day off and then you can do it for 4 more days?
That is correct. But if you wanted to have, for example, not that we have this currently, but if we wanted to do a festival that was like a 7-day or 10-day festival, you would not be able to have a beer vendor at that festival for those consecutive days.
How long is the light thing gonna Are we gonna allow liquor there? I forget.
Yeah, Illuminate Isani.
Yeah.
The Illuminate Isanti
How long
is
is-
8 days.
It's 8? I think we need to change this.
I don't know if we have that we are having liquor at that, or having beer at that event, but if we are, that will be the first festival that we will have
They
impacted
do at
by
Bentleyville,
this.
they do at Sam's Christmas Village. Why wouldn't Illuminate Isani?
Well, would we have to change the ordinance for liquor in city parks?
What's that?
I believe Bluebird Park allows it and is the only one that allows liquor. Because I did ask that question because.
Well, I think you can have it with a special event permit regardless.
Yes, but
So-
I believe that's the one park because of the amphitheater.
Okay, gotcha. Makes sense.
But it's only allowing it 4 days. So I think we should do,
So the on
8
sale
consecutive
intoxicating
days.
liquor license, it says 12, 1 day, or you can have 4 3-day, 2 6-day, or 3 4-day. Basically, it's 12 days worth of selling.
In one calendar year?
Yes. It's never been an issue before for hard liquor, so
no, but now we're gonna put Illuminate Isani in the park for 8 days.
then we should maybe have it model the intoxicating liquor license.
What's the difference? I guess I don't know the difference.
There may be a carve-out in statute for festivals and events to have something separate than just our traditional temporary liquor license. However, do we want there to be consistency between the two different types of licenses, or do we want to govern? It does seem a little bit odd to staff that you have your intoxicating liquor can be sold more than your non-intoxicating liquor. Is that what we want as a city, as our community looks at what we allow in for our just community events?
I'd say we model it after the intoxicating liquor license.
I agree,
It would make sense to staff that it would be very similar,
I agree.
So the Lions use 3-2 beer? Where do they get that from?
yes, from Delheimer Distributing typically.
But they also have White Claw.
That's
I've been over
considered,
there- what's
but
that?
that's still
It's
considered.
still considered
3-2.
3-2.
Oh, it is? I
Yeah.
thought that was a little higher proof.
Uh-uh.
Yep.
Isn't White Claw like 5 or something?
I think it's 5% by alcohol weight, however, it's still considered in the 3-2 category.
Whatever. Stephanie's our resident expert.
Mike's, and they've had Mike's Hard Lemonade before.
Still 3-2.
Staff does not foresee if there would be any issues if we were to. I know we don't have a lot of people applying for this license, but even if we did, we don't believe that there would be an issue with it. A lot of times when people come in for a temporary license, maybe it's for a wedding, something very short anyways. However, if there was some kind of event that perhaps maybe at the Jubilee Days, they wanted to have evening beer garden,
Well,
they would be able
here's,
to.
here's the problem though, let's say the Lions do that over at Illuminate Isani. So that, we gave them the 12, they can have up to 12 days. That's 8 days, plus our street dances, plus Jubilee days. Now all of a sudden, they're over their 12 days.
It does say the 12
Per
days in any
event?
one location, though. If they moved a location, they'd get another 12 days.
It resets their 12.
Okay?
I say go, I agree with Councilman Lundin, go with the 12-day.
Yeah, I think
They
we
should
should,
Model it after the
we
same.
should mirror it
Or
after
it
the
is within 12
intoxication.
months. Sorry, I apologize, Mayor Council, it is within 12 months.
Any location though.
Or any location, so it is within 12 days within a 12-month period.
So you get 12 no matter where you move. So we're,
Well, street dances, we have.
Let's, wait, what,
4.
we're to
But however,
12 days per
We can s-
event?
we still could model the 12 days, similar to the intoxicating, but the 3-2 doesn't have the restrictions of the 12-month period, like, that's set by council. So you don't have to set that provision. The
I'd say
provision
model
that
it
we have-
after the other one and remove the 12 days
12 months.
max.
yeah, yeah.
12-month that we have to for intoxicating, I believe, is by statute, so that will stay. But the non-intoxicating is set by us. We can choose to have it more days.
Yeah, I agree with Councilman Lundy and model the intoxication.
And remove the 12 days from it.
12-month limit period.
It'll be a new song, the 12 Days of Intoxication.
Yeah. On the 12th day of intoxication.
Just not the 12 month.
Mayor Johnson stumbled about.
Yeah, Mayor
So-
Johnson fell.
Would that allow someone to open up a 3-2 bar?
I don't think so. This is temporary. This is
For,
not a.
well, it'd be for a year.
Well, they wouldn't be able to be in any location more than 12 days. So I suppose they could do
Okay.
12 days on, take a day off, 12 days on, technically.
But they'd have to come get a license every time.
They're gonna have a beer truck. 3-2 beer truck.
I would say it'd have to have verbiage in there stating that
No brick and mortar? I don't know.
no brick and mortar.
No brick and mortar, there you have it.
If you want a
that
brick
make
and
sense?
mortar,
Yeah, that wouldn't be, I don't believe that would be permitted anyways, by definition of a temporary license, but
Right.
we have, I think, enough of direction. This will need to come back through council, because it would be an ordinance change. We'll work on some language and make sure we vet everything out, to make sure that there's nothing that we're missing, and then we'll bring it back for review in a form that you can read the outline of.
Did we cover what you two ladies were looking for?
Yes, Mayor.
All right. Anything else we need to add or discuss?
Jimmy?
Councilman Gordon, you have anything, sir?
No, I think that's the right path to take there, so.
All right. Nothing, Ms. Wood? We're good?
That is all.
I move we adjourn.
I have a motion to adjourn by Councilman Burgley
Second.
and a second by Councilman Collison. All in favor, state your name and say aye.
Paul Burgley, aye.
Steve Lundin, aye.
Dan Collison, aye.
Jimmy Gordon, aye.
And Jeff Johnson, aye. Therefore, it passes 5-0 and we stand adjourned.